We are now going to discuss the patriarchal society. And for many people, that will be quite a shock because we've all been taught that the patriarchal society is what is responsible for all of the accumulated glory of various civilizations. Reality is that the patriarchal society has been around a very long time. I would say for 10,000 years, at least, if not longer. However, there are beliefs that the earliest humans who were hunter-gatherers probably had a more egalitarian-based society than what the patriarchal society is. Why would it be more equitable? Possibly because roles were considered complementary by those type of societies and not one superior and the other inferior. The patriarchal society is a hierarchical society that uses subjugation of women and children, animals, other men to stay in power. Rome extended patriarchal structures through the doctrine of patria potestas, the absolute authority of the male head of the household. Fathers had absolute power of life and death over children and control of marriages. In ancient China, Confucian philosophy codified patriarchal order that endured for millennia. The three obediences dictated that a woman must obey her father, her husband, and finally her son. In India, patriarchy was intertwined with caste, religion, and law. Their law stated that a woman must never be independent. Patriarchy as a system of psychological conditioning. Patriarchal society is built upon hierarchical power dynamics, men over women, dominance over empathy, control over vulnerability. From early childhood, both men and women are socialized into rigid gender roles. Men are taught to suppress emotion, avoid dependency, and equate worth with dominance and productivity. Women are taught to submit, nurture, and find identity through service or attachment to others. This emotional repression and distortion of human potential creates interpersonal conflicts, the foundation for neuroses, and in extreme cases, psychosis. According to Freudian and later Reichian theory, neurosis arises when instinctual drives, love, anger, sexuality, are repressed due to social prohibitions. In patriarchal cultures, sexual repression, moral rigidity, and shame are pervasive, especially around women's bodies and emotions. For instance, a woman who internalizes patriarchal values may experience chronic anxiety or depression from the conflict between her social conditioning and her authentic impulses. Men are denied permission to express tenderness or vulnerability, may experience neurosis through chronic tension, addiction, or violence, a projection of repressed emotional needs. This aligns with Wilhelm Reich's concept of character armor, muscular and emotional rigidity formed to protect against forbidden feelings, patriarchal alienation, and psychosis. Whereas neurosis represents internal conflict with societal norms, psychosis may emerge when a person's reality testing collapses due to unbearable internal contradictions or isolation from authentic human connection. Patriarchal systems foster alienation in several ways: emotional isolation, the discouragement of genuine emotional expression creates fragmented identities and dissociation. Devaluation of the feminine principle, when empathy, intuition, and emotional intelligence are devalued, Individuals lose contact with integrative, relational aspects of the psyche, often symbolized as the anima in Jungian psychology. Absolute authority, whether paternal, religious, or institutional, conditions obedience over authenticity. For some, this leads to psychic splitting between their true self and socially mandated self, a dynamic often seen in psychotic decompensation. Thus, patriarchy fosters conditions that can precipitate psychotic disintegration, a collapse of self coherence under the pressure of rigid roles and suppressed identity. Feminist theorists such as Karen Horney, R.D. Laing, Juliet Mitchell, and Jessica Benjamin reframe mental disorders as symptoms of a sick society rather than individual pathology. They argue patriarchy enforces psychic submission, especially in women, through dependency, guilt, and objectification. Men suffer psychic isolation, cut off from their emotional lives, leading to narcissism, paranoia, or emotional emptiness. Both outcomes reflect relational trauma rather than innate mental defects. Institutions like family, religion, and work perpetuate patriarchal psychology. The father, as ultimate authority, models dominance and fear, not cooperation. Religion often sanctifies obedience and female subordination. Economy rewards aggression and competitiveness while punishing empathy or emotional transparency. Such structures normalize collective neuroses, a society functioning on anxiety, repression, and disconnection. Healing beyond patriarchy. From a therapeutic and cultural standpoint, dismantling patriarchal patterns involves restoring emotional literacy, encouraging both sexes to express vulnerability and empathy, integrating feminine and masculine archetypes, balancing rationality with intuition, dominance with cooperation, developing body-mind awareness, as in Reichian or Gestalt therapy, helping individuals release muscular and emotional armoring, creating egalitarian relationships where mutual respect replaces dominance and submission. These steps support psychological wholeness, a reintegration of the split self produced by patriarchal conditioning. In essence, the patriarchal society contributes to mental disorders by severing the natural flow of emotion, distorting identity formation, and enforcing disconnection within individuals and between people. Neurosis reflects the internalization of repression. Psychosis, its catastrophic overflow. True mental health requires not merely individual therapy, but a cultural transformation